Remember the 5th of November. Hey, lovelies, it's Victoria back with another spoiler free movie reaction. And happy 5th of November. That's why I'm dressed as I am right now. And since it's the 5th of November, I decided to do my movie reaction on Five Nights at Freddy's, which came out last week, and I've been wanting to jump on it sooner. I apologize, it's taken me a while to get to it, but I've been so busy, and I'll have to update you guys on what I've been up to later on. But I'm here and I am ready to review it. I saw it, and let's just say I have some things to say. The film, starring Josh Hutcherson, Elizabeth Lail, Piper Rubio, Mary Stuart Masterson, and Matthew Lillard, is about a troubled security guard who starts working at Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, where little does he know there is a dark secret lying within the walls of that place. Okay, I'm gonna be frank with y'all. I did not know much about the video games or anything about the lore behind this film. I only know the premise of the first game, and so that was pretty much what I chose to go by. I wanted to walk into this film a little bit cold and then figure out more about it after watching it. So anything that I may have missed that you probably know because you're a fan, please let me know in the comment section below. Now, where can I possibly start with this one right here? Because I want to be sure that I am still being fair while still also giving any criticism I may have on this film. You know what? I'll tell you what. I'll start off with the good things that I found about this film. I will start off by saying that there was something about this film that really gave me some kind of form of nostalgia when watching it. Like, if you're someone, like if you were a kid that went to Chuck E. Cheese religiously like I was as a little kid and enjoyed that, or went to places like McDonald's and any places that kind of like had mascots within them, like at parties and stuff like that, this film really hit that spot in my memory of how I felt about things like that. And also, in a way, thinking about what it would be like if nobody was around them, like the Jamboree animatronics robots that are singing, and you're wondering, as a kid, you're like, are they real, or are they, I mean, what are they? Why are they able to move like that kind of feel? While you sometimes in the back of your mind, you're wondering, what if they came to life at points in the day where people are not around, and they just start, you know, using the place as their own little party spot, or their place to do whatever they want until it's time for people to come back in during the day or something like that. That was, to me, was a very interesting concept that I must admit I never really seen that in, how can I say, that being centered in a film before until this one. And the subject matter in this film I thought was a nice kind of like thing to center this kind of film on, because especially when it comes to discussions about children being kidnapped, children being murdered, and they were never solved, or the children were never found kind of situations. And it all somewhat traces back to a place that was meant for child entertainment or children entertainment. And so people would turn a blind eye to that more so than want to look at that as the cause of any of those types of situations. That was interesting because that has been a, like I said, a topic of discussion for many years now, and it still is to a degree, but at the same time, there is something about it that is still a insidious kind of, I won't say taboo, it's not taboo, it's just more like it's something that you still wouldn't want to think that happens still to this day, kind of thing. And also the themes of dealing with your own trauma from when you were a kid, or dealing with um, parts of your childhood innocence being taken away or stolen from you because of situations that have happened within your childhood, or things that happened to someone else that you knew in your childhood. It can be it's a topic that I too find interesting to explore and like to see in films, because that's, to me, is a little bit of a very tough theme to think about. And also the theme of trying to move on past it and move forward with your life, even though it's so hard to do that when the good parts of your life was so seemed like it's all in the past. It's no longer anything truly great to look forward to in the future. Even if you have one thing to possibly be happy to still have in the present, it is a very interesting thought to think, what would you do? What would you do if you were presented with an opportunity to have something back, or to get something back that you felt like was unjustly taken from you? Whether that's someone you loved, or whether that was something that that gave you that sense of innocence and fun loving feeling that you used to have, that was just stripped away from you. And that's pretty much what's going on with Josh Hutcherson's character, Mike Schmitz, who is a security guard. He works as a security guard, but he is obviously dealing with trauma from his past, and he's very troubled, but he has a sister, a younger sister, that he's trying to look after and take care of. And it's getting kind of difficult for him because he has been, how can I say, going through a downward spiral in his job life. And here is now just like he's only has one more chance, or one place that he can work at, and it's at this place that's going to turn into a life or death situation for him, and possibly even for his sister. And also he's trying to solve basically this kind of like mystery through his dreams of something that happened to someone that he cared for deeply back when he was a kid. And he is doing this pretty much almost every day. And so he really is dealing with a very much traumatic thing that happened in his past, but he wants so badly to solve it. But the problem with that is that it's keeping him from seeing what is still in front of him, who is still there with him, that he can still take care of and give to this person what he was not able to give to that other one because of what happened. And so he's going through a lot. And also he has a wicked aunt in this film played by Mary Stuart Masterson. And let's just say, don't get me started on her. She was she was something. And then, of course, there is Matthew Lillard. And yeah, if you guys know him, he has definitely been around, and he is hilarious. He is goofy. He's insane. Or he can play those types of characters well. I'll say that. He's not those things, but he can act those things very well. If you've seen films like Scream, if you've seen the Scooby-Doo films, and need I say more, you know how he can be. But in this film, he plays the career counselor to Mike, and he starts off kind of like you're trying to figure out what's this character's deal in a way, and so it's not really like, okay, we know what this guy is like right off the bat because we know his type. But at the same time, though, Matthew Lillard did a great job in how he portrayed this character, in my opinion. I wish that we had seen more of him in this film to a degree that helps us better understand the motives behind his character and why his character does what he does. But, well, this is what we got. But I felt like, for the most part, his character worked, and he did an awesome job with that character. Now, as for the Freddy Fazbear gang, which we have Freddy, Chica, Foxy, Bonnie, and I think there's also one called Golden Freddy. If I'm wrong, please let me know. And then the Cupcake. I have to say, I loved how those characters were styled in this film and how they made them seem like they're not just animatronic beings, that they are like have living beings within them, because they are acting like they are living beings, not just like robots, not just like something that is meant to be programmed to do so. They seem like there is something very living about them, even though they are not real. They're animatronics. But there's something about them that, not just because of their eyes glowing, not just because of the fact what is really behind them and all, they seem like they are actual living beings, in my opinion. Okay, let's get to the bad stuff that I did not, let's just say the things that I did not like about this film, or I felt like the film didn't do such a great job with presenting. So let's start off with some plot holes. There are definitely quite a few that are in this film, and also there are questions in this film, especially getting towards the end, that I feel like were never really answered. And also kind of like even questions about certain characters' past and certain lines that were spoken that felt like there was some subtext underneath them that they did not get to. And also, even with the character of Mike, like I said, I think Josh Hutcherson did a great job on this character. And also, he really brought a lot of emotion but strength to this character. But we still don't really know much about him, I feel. We don't know when he started doing what he did, or why is it that people look upon him in certain ways in the film that is kind of pointed out in the film. So it was kind of tough. But at the same time, even with Matthew Lillard's character, there's still some things that we do not get fully answered or do not get more context with. And so that's the part I didn't like. I know that you can only do so much in a film and that you can only explain so much. I understand that, but I wish there was a little bit more context, especially for people who probably don't know the lore and don't really know these characters well, if they were in the games or if they were not. And so that's one of the things I did not like about the film. Also, we don't even know how his sister Abby is able to do certain things in this film. That is kind of a big, how can I say, plot point that could help people understand why that is happening and how it is happening at this point, rather than it hasn't happened ever. Or at least before this point, let's just say that. And also another thing that I did not like about this film was kind of the, how can I say, I won't say I didn't like it, I just wondered. It's like, so the movie's called Five Nights at Freddy's. So, okay, we get it, that's the name of the game. But if somebody was starting to notice something was off about the place that they are supposed to be guarding at night, and they still continue to go back to that place the next night and not even, you know, lift a finger or be like, oh my God, what is this kind of thing, and stay in that and trying to figure out, okay, what is this? Why is this? Why aren't you telling me what's going on? You're just leaving me in the dust here and just and acting like this is normal kind of feel. And it just felt like it was so much for the horrific stuff going on in this film. There were moments that you were kind of like, okay, we know that this is not gonna stay cut and clean for long. We know that this is heading towards a darker place, and yet the characters, even though at first they're kind of like weary about what is happening, they still are kind of like, okay, I have to go back the next night anyway, or I'm still trying to figure out something and this is where I can do it at. And so things like that. But other than that, it was interesting in concept. This film was definitely interesting in concept to me, and I stay true to that. And as you probably can tell, I have not even gotten to the part about whether I found this movie scary or not. And so let's just say that I wouldn't define this film as a full-on horror film. Now, maybe a scary movie or something in between the two, but I wouldn't call this a full-on horror film because there were just so many different elements of it that reminded me of like how could I say, like films like maybe Hocus Pocus to a degree, or something like, what else? Maybe a little bit of Goosebumps, the show, but also at the same time, but then again, Goosebumps is definitely, it's scary. I'm not saying it's not. It was much scarier than this film, but I feel like this film is more like a intro to horror kind of film. That was the vibe I was getting from this film, because a lot of the scenes that involve killings or involve people being hurt by things I would say they sort of played it down a bit. They made it digestible for their audience, especially if their audience members are like kids or preteens or teenagers around there. So that's what I thought of this film. There were some moments of like chills and maybe things that could kind of make you feel like, oh, kind of feel. But as far as it being scary, like horror scary, not to me. Sorry. So let's just get to it. To my rating, I mean. On a scale of 1 to 10, I would have to give this movie I give it a 6.5. Like I said, there are things that you can, if not like about this film, there are things in this film that you can appreciate. I'm not saying to run out to the theaters to go see this or rush on streaming to go see it, but if you do get a chance to see it on streaming or at the movies, I won't say that it's a complete waste of time, especially for people that do not know much about the game or the lore. Now, those who know the game and the lore, I cannot say that is because I wouldn't know, so I will leave that up to the fans. But for those that don't know much about it, but would still like to see something that can give you a little thrill and a little bit of kind of like, oh my God, where is this going kind of vibe, but is not gonna freak you out for the rest of the day after seeing it, I would say, yeah, definitely check this one out. I think it's worth the watch. And also I felt like the acting in here was fairly decent. I thought Josh Hutcherson was really great. And I was like, oh my God, man, where have you been? Because I feel like it's been a while since the Hunger Games. And I know he was in other stuff after that. I'm not saying that he wasn't, but I've always adored his acting in films like that, or Journey to the Center of the World, Bridge to Terabithia, but of course he was a kid then. But even so, I'm a big fan of his. So please keep doing what you're doing, Josh, because I think you're a really great actor. And as for the other actors in here as well, I thought they were pretty good for what their characters' objectives were and whatnot, especially Matthew Lillard. So yeah, cast was decent. The story felt like it needed a little bit more work on that, but hey, this is what we got. And the music, actually, I kind of like the music in this film. Nothing truly to write home about, but when I watch the movie, I can enjoy it. So, there. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you guys have any thoughts about Five Nights at Freddy's, please leave them in the comments section below. And as far as my next movie reactions, I can't say what's going to be next just yet, but trust and believe I will be announcing what my next movie reactions are on Instagram, and I'll see if I can post it here on YouTube. So it won't be long, lovely, so stay tuned. But till then, please remember the 5th of November, the gunpowder, treason, and plot. I know of no reason why the gunpowder treason should ever be forgot. And so, hope you guys have a wonderful 5th of November, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.